here to check out this Mission. They just don't make them like this anymore, you know? The stonework is absolutely incredible. And they protected it from, I guess, what would be like birds and all that kind of crap, you know? Beautiful. A buddy of mine told me once that there's something magical about church bells, and so earlier when I pulled in, they started playing some song, and I think there is something magical about hearing the bells, the church bells toll, you know, because we don't hear that anymore, and it's like a very hippie way. It's like a frequency, right? I mean, sound is a frequency, and so being able to hear it in like an analog form, just resonate across cities or towns or whatever, I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, love it. I grew up in a little town in Eastern Europe where the main religion was Roman Greco-Orthodox. My grandma, my mom were very church going folk. As a kid, I remember just like going to church every Sunday. You couldn't miss church ever. And now as an adult, I mean, I just don't go anymore for many reasons. Part of it because I don't like institutionalized any kind of beliefs. And then secondary, I think that you don't need to go to church to have any belief, pray, or do any of that kind of stuff. I think what the church has experienced over the years is actually pretty sad, you know, with like harassment, this and harassment that, and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm just not a fan of institutionalized religion, any type. I don't care if you're Buddhist or whatever. But there's something really magical about going into a church and about just letting yourself experience it. And dare I say, succumbing to whatever kind of powers that be. Anyways, this little pueblo is absolutely incredible. And on one of the signs over there, it says actually Pueblo Mágico, magic town, and it really does feel like it. Yeah, man, it's like in the middle of the mountains. By the way, this is in the middle of the mountains. I'm craving something sweet, but I don't know what. I don't know if ice cream is the thing to get. I mean, I would like a donut or something more bready, doughy, you know. You know me. How I roll. Jeez, brother, bless you. This is what I was looking for. Buenas. Hola.
Gracias, adiós. Luego. Gracias, bonita tarde. Ahí viene.
Buenos días.
Hola.
Quiero comandar. ¿Me quiere algo dulce?
¿Algo dulce?
Sí.
Mire, lo más vendido dulce
Sí.
son los acordeones. ¿Este parece?
¿Está?
Es el más vendido. Igual tenemos el pan típico de aquí de la panadería, es la mestiza.
Ok. ¿Y qué es ese?
Es una galleta tipo polvorón más suave.
Ok.
Es lo típico de aquí de la panadería y de la región.
Ok.
Ajá, manejamos 4 tamaños. Y en individual, ese mismo producto lo tenemos en se llama Mesticoncha o el mal hecho. Es el mismo producto.
Ok.
Ajá, igual es dulce.
Igual dulce, ok. Found some biking trails, and I found some pan dulce. Some fucking sweets. I mean, look, when in Rome, you know, this was 36 pesos, which is $3 for 4 treats. And then the food was, I mean, the first one that I had, the first burrito was 130 pesos, which is $10 flat. and then the second one I think was like 110 pesos. Anyways, doesn't really matter. I think I spent about $25 today, and I have three meals and then some. Yeah, man, life out here is beautiful. Oh my God, what a morning. I went up to about 2,700 meters, and then right now I'm at 1,800 meters. I had to pull over. I pulled over the last 30 minutes or so, just like let the brakes cool off because they were cooking. And I got another 4 hours of driving to do. So I'm just gonna slowly make my way out towards Teotihuacan, something like that. There's some pyramids there. There's some good camping there. And apparently I can take a bus for about 70 pesos into Mexico City, and then I don't have to worry about all the fucking driving around in Mexico City. So we'll see. The drive's fucking crazy. Just mountainous roads, up and down, and like just windy as hell. And it's a lot. So anyways, those guys are having fun on the motorcycles. So I'm gonna go continue on, and wish me luck. I thought I wanted to go drive around Mexico City, but no. That was one of the craziest experience of my life. This morning, when we left Jalpan, we climbed up the mountains through the Sierra Gorda for about 300 kilometers, 200 kilometers. But we climbed about 1,200 meters in elevation. I think the highest point I was at was 27, 30, más o menos, something like that, meters. And then when you go up, you gotta go down. And that way down was absolutely ridiculous. I had to stop twice because my brakes were cooking. Incredibly, incredibly dangerous, incredibly windy, and just the whole thing was nuts. And then we left Querétaro City and then we went on the highway. And then I went from single lane traffic, which was super chill, considerably more chill than driving into Ciudad de Mexico. Because driving into Ciudad de Mexico on these highways, the roads are shit. Traffic's like weaving in and out. People have no patience. Anyways, long story short, we made it. We're safe at the pyramids in Teotihuacan. Teotihuacan. I think that's how it's pronounced. I'm fucking exhausted. I'm like emotionally drained, physically drained. I haven't eaten. I had a banana. I need to eat. So we're gonna whip up some burgers. Yeah, just dead. I woke up this morning and it was 8 degrees Celsius. And so I turned on the heater and I started getting the carbon monoxide reading again. That's not good because it means I have nowhere to service it. We can't be getting any heat with the carbon monoxide reading. We got some problems, but nevertheless, we saw some hot air balloons rise and we are now gonna go check out the pyramids. Hopefully it's not very busy. Life's still good. All is well. Things will get sorted. This was one of the largest cities in the ancient world, pre-Hispanic Mesoamerica. And so it turns out that this was founded in about 100 BCE. And it reached its peak around 250 to 600 BCE. The population is estimated to be around 150 to 200,000. So the reality is, even in today's world, nobody knows who founded this because it predates the Aztecs. And so the Aztecs called it Teotihuacan, which means the city of the gods, or the city built by gods, rather. You gotta imagine that people coming here, or rather at that time when people would come here, the wonders that they would see, right? Like, this is insane to just to come into a place like this that was built with the stone and these perfect squares and so well designed, right? And then they would be able to walk around here as if it's like us going to Dubai and seeing all of these massive buildings, right? It's kind of the equivalent, you know, because at the time you'd be living in like a hut of some sort, right? You wouldn't really be in this sort of a place. Fucking magical, man. So the Casal de los Muertos is over there, and that's kind of where we came from. That was the main road that we walked around, where we saw the balloons way in the distance, which was really actually these balloons over here. And then from there, we're gonna walk dead on towards the pyramid of the moon. That turns out to be actually the third largest pyramid in the whole world. That over there is the pyramid of the sun. And then that over there is the pyramid of the moon. And the reason why I know that is because I believe that that's Cerro Gordo, which means like fat mountain. Gordo means fat. On other sides of me, like both of all of this and all throughout all the sides over there and all the way over there, are all basically plazas and residential places and things of that nature where people would live and conduct economic activities and that whole thing. Teotihuacan was like the craziest metropolis at the time, right? There's this intentional grid system that runs perfectly aligned to 15.5 degrees east of north. And now, this is kind of important because they believe that the entire city was built around cosmology. They use the stars and the moon and the sun as their ways of navigating the world back then, right? And so all of these places are built with that in mind, which is absolutely, just absolutely incredible. That is, in fact, the Pyramid of the Sun. Not only is it the third largest pyramid in the world, it was built over a cave. And this mysterious cave is kind of probably the origin of this myth of a city built by gods, right? Man, I wonder if you can climb that. That would be tight. So there's 2,000 residential complexes. And so Cerro Gordo turns out to be pretty interesting. It's not just a mountain, but this used to be a volcano that erupted about 300,000 years ago. Back then, it wasn't called Cerro Gordo, it was called the Mother. Remember that cave that I told you guys about? They used to believe that that was called the womb of the earth, and it was like it's a tunnel somewhere underneath in there. I think you can kind of see a little bit of it. That's kind of cool. But it's about 65 meters high, which in feet is like, I don't know, a couple hundred feet. 65 meters times 3.6 or something like that, 3.3, 3.9. As you go up to it, you really get the gist of why they called it the Pyramid of the Sun, because it really is right over the sun. Apparently, on the sunset of August 12th, I don't know if this is real or not, this is just ChatGPT telling me some shit, but on the sunset of August 12th, a date tied to the Mesoamerican calendar marking the beginning of a current creation cycle. It was built in two major phases. Portal, or like an initiation kind of a space that was like a royal rebirth, if you will. Now, the thing with this whole area is there's no real distinction of like there being a king or some sort of a ruler or anything like that. Sure, there might have been some sort of a hierarchy of folk, but not in the way that we would think about it, you know? So all of these figurines and all these things are just aspects of like reptiles and cats and gatos, you know, things that they would see around here in this kind of a landscape. Pretty crazy, you know? Like, I wonder if you can go inside. Then I wonder what inside looks like. So we're back on the Avenue of the Dead, Calzada de los Muertos, and we're gonna walk over to Pyramid of the Moon. It seems like all of these other structures on the side here that kind of flank the whole avenue. A little bit better shape on this side, I think. Pretty cool to see. Remember how I told you that that was a volcano back in the day? Well, when it erupted, obviously lava flew, and this whole area is built with like basalt rocks and obsidians and porous rock, I guess, that you don't really get back home, you know? I guess you can kind of walk up the Pyramid of the Moon a bit. There's a pretty cool fact that I forgot to tell you guys about. So at the top of the Pyramid of the Sun, when you stand right in the center of it, there's a point called the Axis Mundi, which is basically the symbolic place of the connection between the heaven, the earth, and the underworld. I would imagine that was probably quite a symbolic place for people to have sort of rituals and whatever else they would do back in the day. Sacrifice a goat, I don't know, you know? The Pyramid of the Moon, which is where we're going to right now, that was more of a ritualistic space, whereas This one was ritualistic too, but it was more of a birthplace of the cosmic, of the world, of the universe. It was kind of their belief, right? Whereas this has a lot of strong um, sacrificial and ritualistic kind of areas, and so there's a lot more evidence of that on this pyramid than the other one. There's a lot of tombs, and there's multiple sites, and I think these are all kind of the tombs that they kind of refer to when they say that that's what this was about, right? It was just rituals and sacrifices and things like that. These sacrifices that would happen around here were typically associated with legitimacy, authority, things of that nature, you know? Sort of maybe rites of passages, perhaps. And the observation point up top there was less symbolic and more utilitarian. It was used for tracking the planets and alignments and cosmology and things like that. And so that's also kind of a bit of a different symbolism than the other one, the other pyramid over there. And so there's now I don't know if we consider this and everyone's climbing up the stage, or if this is the stage, or if this is the stage. But in any case, they would have stages that would basically, again, back to sacrifices where there would be public death. So let's go climb this fucking thing. See what that looks like. You'll have to forgive my heavy breathing. This is right at the end of the Avenue of the Dead. The Cerro Gordo Mountains right behind us. That's the one that used to be the volcano, and I mean you can see all the tombs kind of spotted around, which is unbelievable. Like, what a place.
Look at the puppies.
Pretty wild. So I really do think that that over there was the stage. And I think this was just more of a viewing ground for the elites. In Mexico City, somewhere in that smog, you fucking can't see shit. It is fucking steep. You can see how porous the rocks are because it was made with basalt, which came from the volcano behind us, which is pretty crazy. As you kind of walk through here, you can't help but feel a little bit, I don't know what the word is, but maybe not inspired, maybe humbled. Maybe humbled that humanity is this capable, you know, that humans built this fucking thousands of years ago. Let's go check out this joint over here, and I think that might wrap our adventure in La Pyramids de Teotihuacan. You can see these, and you see this kind of everywhere. They would use these little red little markings all throughout, which is pretty fucking fascinating if you ask me. Buenas. That was Teotihuacan. I'm gonna go back to the van. I'm gonna change clothes. I'm gonna grab the bike and I'm gonna go into town. That's kind of the plan. We'll see what the little town looks like around here. If you're ever in Mexico City, I strongly recommend it. It's about 40 kilometers from Ciudad de Mexico, like the actual city. It was quite the experience. Basically, at every kind of a tourist joint. Sí. Es para mí. At every one of these tourist spots, you have these folks trying to sell you tours and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, sometimes I think a tour is worth it. Had a really good experience with the tour at Edward James Garden and Hilitla, but that was because you didn't have a choice. But here you do have a choice. But it's pretty crazy because these guys will just get in front of your fucking car just to stop you and then trying to sell you the tour. And I had that kind of driving into Hilitla too, 2 or 3 times actually. And they make it like if you're not from the area, they make it look pretty legit. They'll like stop you as if like entry fee into the park or whatever that is, right? And so that's always really interesting. But they gotta make some dough too, right? And I don't blame them for the way they do it, but it is quite aggressive. Yeah, I mean, everyone's gotta make a buck. So there you go, a little more insight. This is where they make all those little stones. Buenas. They make all those little stones that you kind of like purchase, all those little trinkets, all little things. Very cool. Back at the van, take it easy, grab the bike, go for a stroll. Todo bien. Is that a temazcal?